It is a shame that every time that they do this, they damage the image of a rider who has been sanctioned or who has not even been sanctioned. Sometimes they do not get sanctioned, like in Bajevic's case, where he was able to convince the Slovenian Olympic Committee that there was no case against him, the case that's now on appeal. Or it gets delayed, for instance, like Pelazzotti. This certainly causes economic harm, but on top of all, a moral harm. Our names get published in the newspapers as criminals, and we are not able to protect ourselves. A group must be created to unite the professional teams in order to develop a better system that will look after the teams and the riders' interests. This could be done in a year. Later, they should leave the UCI behind, become independent, even if this puts our participation in the Olympic Games at risk. For me, that will not be that important, since I don't like the way they treat us either. Who has benefited from Rebellin's sanction? The story is full of black holes as well. Even if Rebellin is innocent, he would not be able to prove his innocence. No one has ever beaten the system. Imagine if a rider won in the court of arbitration of sport. Just imagine it. The system would be broken. They will not let that happen. We are the riders, the ones that make the sport. Accordingly, it should be us who has a role and helps decide the kinds of controls and the procedures that govern our sport. I am confident in myself, in the way that I am riding now, and I see that all the riders are now much more equal. There is not one rider who we might say is an extraordinary case as there has been in the past. That is fine. It is a positive effect of the doping controls. Nevertheless, we cannot be sure that tomorrow we will receive a letter saying that we do not abide by the rules. In the end, if you have the money, you can demonstrate that you are right. But even then, you've already lost. You've lost time, contracts, teams, friends, reputation. That is the problem. You've lost your livelihood. That is why I'm always thinking about a new organisation that would look after our interests. The UCI is such a big structure, an international institution that rules in countries with very different laws. The UCI is in Switzerland, but the biggest race is in France, and each country has its own rules. With the new organisations, we could pay the UCI for referee services and the commissaires. But the controls have to be done outside the UCI, because we know that behind everything there is a huge economic interest. At this stage, I'm not able to say what a new structure might look like, since there are many things behind the scenes that riders do not know. The problem is cycling. In cycling, we don't know how to take care of our own image. For instance, when we get the positive results, straight away we leak them. Or they are passed to the rider when he's doing the tour, and the positive is in May or before. Laboratories should have very strict regulations so that they are not able to sell the information. We need a closed circuit between the laboratories, the UCI and WADA. I'm not saying that they should not give names, but they should only be mentioned once the contra-analysis has been done and the sanctions process has begun. For example, Pelazzotti's case. He's got a lot of bullshit. I want him to come back, and I'm sure he will. But he should come back to a small team, be able to regain his form little by little. He's lost a lot of precious time. And what if he hasn't done anything?